What's up, everybody? It's the Digital World Podcast, and wow, we are set for some good news coming. And this is just so interesting. I've never experienced something like this in my life, and it's very interesting to see how everything is playing out. Without further ado, we're going to be discussing how the push for central bank digital currencies is fast approaching, and how before we know it, Ripple's utility with its native token XRP is going to blast. And we're going to talk a little bit about the SEC case and some technical analysis, so stay tuned because you're going to want to hear what's going on. Now, here is Jeremy Hogan explaining a little bit of what's happening with the case, and I think these 2 minutes are really going to enlighten you. And also, if you haven't checked out John D. In's document, I recommend it. It is fire. So let's go ahead and watch Jeremy Hogan explain a little bit.
The first thing we are touching on here is the defendant's objection to certain SEC unfair discovery moves, and then we are really going to be talking about the bigger news to me, which is that the XRP holders motion has been filed, which is really bringing a new look into the case, which I will explain shortly. But first, on April 16, we saw a letter motion sent to Judge Netburn by the defendants in this case, and it was essentially a discovery objection. Now, right there at the top of the page, you can see what the defendants want out of this letter. Quote, the SEC should be ordered to cease all use of MOU requests, close quote. And this is what is going on. The United States government has agreements called Memorandum of Understanding, MOUs, with other countries where essentially they can make requests of each other. So, for example, the SEC can go to the Japanese Security Agency and say, please ask SBI Corp for all documents related to the XRP security. And the Japanese Security Agency would say, wait, XRP is not a security. Donde monai, baka. Just a little joke there. So under the MOU, the Japanese Security Agency, which is called the Kinyucho, would respond by making the request to the SBI company, and then the SBI company would of course have to respond to their government agency with all of the documents that are related to XRP. And then the Japanese government would forward all those documents to the SEC. And all of this is done under a kind of a treaty agreement between the US and Japan. Now, not only is what the SEC doing outside the scope of the federal rules of civil procedure, but it's also outside of the court order issued by the judge regarding discovery in this case. And it also puts a burden and stress on Ripple's business partners getting all these requests from their government agencies. So Ripple and the other defendants have objected to the court in this letter, and I have reviewed the case authority in brief, and unless the SEC pulls a surprise out of somewhere, I think the SEC is in for another bad ruling against it, because it really isn't fair. Us lawyers would say equitable. You can't use the full power and authority of the U.S. government in civil litigation against a private entity. No private party could go to Japan and force them to give them certain documents, and I don't understand why the SEC is doing this, and if I was the judge, I would be a little irritated that the SEC was making an end run around the rules of the court. So I don't understand what they are doing, and I think they are going to get hammered for it, and I could be wrong, but so far in this litigation, I'm batting about 900, so if I was a baseball player, everyone except the Yankees would hire me. Little Yankees jab there. But I don't think this ends well for the SEC.
And so he puts it succinctly in like about 2.5 minutes about what's happening in the case. And I think John Deaton does a good job in his motion to intervene, what he just filed, on spearheading and being straightforward and to the point about what's actually happening. And so I think that'll open a lot of eyes, and especially if the judge, fully reads it and stuff, she'll be informed about a lot of what the XRP community is seeing happen to them as retail investors. And thank you to John D, and shout out to him for that. Now, in other news, this is going to summarize what I'm going to show you from all the news of what's happening with the Bank of England. But XRP Crypto Wolf says XRP is ready for regulatory clarity. When regulations are finally announced this year, don't be surprised if you see the whole market bleeding while XRP skyrockets. Wow. Wow. Okay, so that's I would not be surprised either, because this literally would be the only token that has the full regulatory clarity. to be a currency. Once this SEC lawsuit is done and away with, the sky is the limit. No, there's no technical analysis that'll tell you where it's going because it's being used for utility, for use cases. Now, Gold Telegraph posted this. He said the Treasury and Bank of England announced today a joint task force to evaluate the creation of a central bank digital currency to future-proof sterling against cryptocurrencies. So I'm telling you that more and more news are coming out about CBDCs. Marcus Treacher put this from the Bank of England. Today's announcement of a task force on a central bank digital currency by the Bank of England and HM Treasury is very exciting and a key recommendation of the Khalifa Review. It is just one example of the many innovations taking place in our financial services sector, ensuring that the UK remains a leader in fintech. Introducing a CBDC to the UK would bolster the UK's financial stability, providing individuals and businesses with access to money in digital form and creating a more efficient and resilient payment system. Okay, so we look forward to engaging with the task force on behalf of our members active in the digital assets arena as this initiative develops. It's happening, and I'm telling you, I've been showing you news about CBDCs for a while now, and we see it happening right before our eyes. And the HM Treasury, if you didn't know, is the UK's government economic and finance ministry. Okay, so that's maybe I'll give them a follow. Here you go. Okay, now Bank XRP put this. Venmo is now allowing users to buy, hold, and sell cryptos on the app, which is Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, not XRP. Okay, so that's happening. So it's becoming more and more mainstream. People are getting used to it. And this is huge, huge news. Brian Brooks is now going to be the acting head, or sorry, the CEO of Binance.us. And he was previously as the in the office of the comptroller of the currency. Okay, he was the acting head under President Trump. So this is huge news, and I posted this on Twitter. I tweeted, said, "Wow, this is huge. Great move for Binance.us. I believe they may be on their way to becoming a bank, all things considered." And one of the reasons I think this is because the charter she released during his time at the OCC allowed for these fintech companies or these exchanges to be able to apply for a banking charter. For example, Kraken. That's a perfect example of this. And Binance US looks like it might be on its way to do the same thing. So it'll be worth monitoring and see what happens. If you want to see read this article, you can go to the Wall Street Journal or Bank XRP. You can see it on his Twitter handle. Now, here we see, this is some technical analysis to see where we're at in terms of the market and the fractals. And here, Rob XRP, this is his input. He's doing his best. Sometimes the market behaves in other ways, but I do believe that after a retracement of 40%, which we just had, I think we may be going to the upside. And he says here, this 12% where we are right now seems to be like this wick right here is this same wick right there. And he's saying that it looks like it's all green from here on out. Now that could change, but it seems like this might be the more realistic option right now. And he explains here the drop of 8 to 12% has occurred as expected. We can now look forward to our next move up. We can expect 40 to 80% gains to complete the blue arrow candle from 17 that we are working on, 2017. And he says should complete within 48 hours. Enjoy. So that's what it is, and it looks like we're on the upside. And I'm telling you, once this SEC case is done and closed, who knows what's going to happen in following months. Okay, but let's keep our expectations realistic. I think that a $10 target is in the very near future, and we will see from there. I hope this episode has brought you some value. Like and subscribe, comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are on CBDCs and regulation and what this means for XRP once it gets its full clarity and what it means for the whole crypto space. Looking forward to hearing from you. This is a Digital World Podcast, and I'll see you in the next episode.